Journey Mirror here, and welcome to a brand new video. Today, we're going to be talking about Visions of Mana. Now, first I'm going to just go ahead and say that the background and the whole camera angle and how this may look a little bit different within the next couple weeks. It's already a little different from the last video. That's because I did move my room around, and I'm currently trying to figure out how exactly I want my background to work with my new desk layout. Maybe I'll give you guys a room tour. We'll see. But, yeah, so sorry if things just look a little weird because I am changing just the way my workspace looks. But anyway, we're going to be talking about Visions of Mana. And this is going to be a really cool game to talk about because it's one of those games that just has this weird effect, like, where I just get overly excited for it for no particular reason. And it's one of those games where I'm not exactly sure what excites me so much about this game, but that's what we're gonna go and talk about. But if you guys love gaming, if you guys just love video games, Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, whatever, don't matter the console, if you love video games, consider subscribing. I appreciate any support you guys do give me, and especially on this video right here. But anyway, let's get started talking about Visions of Mana. So if you guys don't know what Visions of Mana is, this is basically the next installment in the Mana series, developed or published by Square Enix. And this is a long-running series that has garnered quite the fan base and quite the community. I've heard a lot of the previous games are highly regarded outside of the last game, which I do believe is Trials of Mana. If I'm correct, don't quote me on that. But I do believe the last game is Trials of Mana, and that one wasn't exactly received incredibly well. But for the most part, there are a lot of great games in this series, and this has been a series that has been absent for a long time, and that's where the excitement for this game comes in. Now, I've never played a Mana game. It's just a franchise I've yet to get my hands on. And you guys know I love playing literally everything and anything. As long as I find it somewhat interesting, I'll play it. As simple as that. All it has to do is just have a cool trailer, put a cool trailer song behind it, have like a really cool box art. That's really all a game has to do, is just like one of those things, and boom, I'm into it. Like, it doesn't even have to be anything about the game. It could literally just have a poster that I think looks cool, and I'll be like, you know, I want to play a game just because I like that poster. That's how I work. I just play whatever and anything. But what I will say is every now and then there is a game that when I see the trailer, I think looks cool, or I've never tried anything like it before, and for some reason, it's just every time I rewatch it, every time I talk about it, every time I think about it, every time I do anything with the game, my excitement keeps building and building and building for no reason. And this is another one of those games. Some games I can kind of say that has worked for in the past is Marvel's Midnight Suns. Literally, my whole excitement for that game was literally just because of the first trailer they showed with Enter Sandman in the background, seeing all the Marvel characters. It just got me sold, and I didn't even know anything about the game. And every time I watched it, every time I thought about it, I just got more and more hyped until I just played it, and I really enjoyed it. And this is kind of one of those games. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, the Mana series. Yeah, I've heard of that. All right, it looks cool. But then I rewatched the Game Awards, the whole show, like multiple times to do a bunch of content just because I like watching it. And every time I watch that trailer, I'm like, man, I think I am kind of interested in this game. And then I listen to podcasts and they talk about it, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna try it. And then after that, I kept watching a trailer, and I'm like, I think I'm actually pretty excited for this game. And then it just kept on getting more and more to the point where it was like in my top 3 most anticipated games as of right now at one point. It no longer is, but that's just because other games have been announced since. And yeah, it's just been a whole crazy year. But there was one point where this game was in my top 3 most anticipated games at the time. And that's crazy because typically these aren't the games I get excited about. Now, I know you're going to say JRPGs. Okay, you're just not a JRPG guy. Fake news. You guys literally see right behind me, there is a Sephiroth amiibo. Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games of all time. Simple as that. If we talk about things like the Yakuza games, if we talk about things like Octopath Traveler, if we talk about things like Live Alive or Live Alive, whatever you want to call it. Live Alive. I call it Live Alive, whatever. If we talk about things like Nier, if we talk about things like Dragon Quest, these are all franchises I thoroughly enjoy. It's nothing to do with JRPGs, but to me, there is a big difference in loving something and being excited for something. And a lot of times there are games that I don't particularly get excited about, but I end up really, really enjoying. For instance, Souls games. Souls games require a huge commitment. They're very challenging. They're very taxing, and you really just have to like really dedicate yourself to play that game. I love a ton of Souls games. Sekiro being my favorite, the hardest one being my favorite, but they're never games I get excited about because I know of the commitment. And the problem with JRPGs, and Persona is a big part of this, is a lot of times they are really, really long, and a lot of times it feels like they kind of drag on or they get stretched out so much that it kind of just, it becomes a little bit of a hassle to complete, and therefore I don't typically get super duper excited for JRPGs, but after I play them, I end up loving them just as much as I knew I would. But this game is different. This game, for some reason, when I look at the art style, when I look at the gameplay, when I hear the music, when I just talk about it, when I look at the cover art, when I think of that original trailer, when I see that logo, it's just something about it really, really excites me. And I am super duper excited to jump into the series and play it for the first time. Now, the art style is easily, I think, the thing that's drawing me in the most. Art styles are just always probably like the biggest draw for me. If it has a cool art style, I am playing it day one. It's just as simple as it is. But yeah, the art style is just, it is super colorful, it's super charming, it's super vibrant, it's super just unique, and I think it kind of combines Immortals Fenyx Rising and Dragon Quest together. And what's weird is Immortals Fenyx Rising was one of those games where at first I was like, okay, it looks cool. And then it kept on watching it over and over again. It just quickly kept growing on my most anticipated list. And Immortals Fenyx Rising is now in my top 20 favorite games of all time. So when I take things like Dragon Quest, which I thoroughly enjoy, when it's made by the same publisher as Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Nier, all that stuff, when you put something that reminds me heavily of Immortals Fenyx Rising and give me something with beautiful music, seems like it's going to be great gameplay, awesome looking art style, I'm absolutely sold. And I've heard great things about past games outside of the most recent one. This is something I am genuinely, genuinely excited about. Now, we do have a little bit of information about the gameplay itself. And that's what I kind of want to talk about in this video, is just what to kind of expect going into this game and what to play. Now, from a lot of the trailers they've showed, obviously the art style is great, and the music, it just seems phenomenal. I think they went into like they showed up at the Xbox Developer Direct earlier this year in 2024, and they were a surprise entry, which was crazy, by the way, because that like solidified right there that, yo, there's something about this game that is just clicking with me, and I don't know what, because out of any game they could have showed, it was that game that was just quickly growing on my anticipated list for no reason, and then it showed up at the Xbox Developer Direct as a surprise game. And they said there's like over 100 original tracks in this game. Like, what are you doing? Like, how many music tracks do you need? But I'm here for it, and they all sound great from what I've heard so far. There are so many different enemies, there's so many different things, and the art style is just awesome. But yeah, the gameplay, it does look like your typical JRPG hack and slash type thing, action RPG type scenario. We do know a little bit of info, including that you are able to switch out characters. I think it is going to be 3 or parties of 3, so you can have 3 characters basically equipped in your party at one time. I'm not sure if you have to stick with your like main character or not, if you can switch him out. But yeah, there is the character swap button via one button, which is kind of interesting. I'm curious how that's gonna work. Like, how do they even set that system up where you can just switch your characters with one button and switch your whole party? But yeah, and then you can change classes. So I'm not sure if classes are different for every character, or if every character just counts as a different class, and they're just kind of saying, yeah, you're gonna be able to switch classes with characters. There is gonna be fast-paced battles. You are gonna be able to support companions. There's gonna be a ring menu is back. Is what this little site thing says. Ring menu is back. Now I'm assuming this is a thing in a previous game, a feature that it had, and I basically did a little research. This is basically where you're gonna be able to open up a wheel option and select like an item, like a healing item, or select like an attack or something. It's gonna be this wheel that pops up to help you just in your battles and scenarios. And I think that's cool. I'm always a big fan of the wheel stuff. There are going to be battle pauses, so I'm not sure if this is like moments where you have to choose an attack and the whole battle pauses, or if it just means like, yo, when you pause the game, you can pause, or if there's like moments in battle where it just pauses to do some like context or something. I'm not really sure what this is, but there are going to be battle pauses, so I'm curious what that is going to be. Familiar characters, I won't really know because I've never played one. I'm going into this completely fresh. Now this is the thing that really excites me, is you are going to be able to traverse seas, skies, and land with a world map that you can fly over the map, and there are Metroidvania elements to this game. Now, you guys know me. I love Metroidvanias. They are easily probably, like, maybe top 5 genre for me. And this is really exciting. A JRPG with Metroidvania elements. I'm not sure we've ever gotten that before. I don't know exactly off the top of my head, but that's exciting. That's exciting. I'm absolutely here for it. Pre-order today, releases August 29th, 2024. Now, at the time of recording this, it was actually just announced that there is a demo available to play right now. I'm not sure on what platforms. I am debating maybe playing that demo just in case I actually don't like it, and then maybe I won't try it. But for the most part, I think I'm going to love this game, and I might give that demo a try just to see what exactly I'm getting into. But the story as well seems very interesting. It gives me very heavy Xenoblade vibes. It gives me very heavy Dragon Quest vibes, and it gives me very heavy like Immortal Phoenix Rising vibes. I would say those 3 games combined is what this game is basically giving me in terms of energy. And newsflash, I love all 3 of those games. So if it's anything remotely close to those 3, I'm absolutely for it. But yeah, man, the cover art's awesome. The trailers were awesome. Music is slapping. The characters seem really, really cool and interesting. There's a bunch of different characters with different elements and just different looks and weapons that you're going to be able to use, abilities. The art style, as we've said multiple times in this video, just looks phenomenal. This is definitely a game I'm going to be playing day one. It's not going to be on Game Pass, which I thought it was going to be announced for Game Pass when it showed up at the Developer Direct, but it ended up not being. So it is going to be a, I think, $60 game, maybe $70. I think it's $60 though. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. What is your opinion? What's your hype level on Visions of Mana? For me, I'm at an absolute 10 with this right now. I think it's just checking every box. I will say some of the things like battle pauses, but the battle pauses is kind of worrying me. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't really like when action is stopped for like text and stuff. So we'll see. But for the most part, my excitement is through the roof for this game. And let me know what you think down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Johnny Morales. Peace.